Are you a woman standing at a crossroads, eager for change? It's time to connect with your authentic and empowered self at Boss Leap. Join Dr. Sylvia Morris and Dr. Angela Walker in this empowering community where real-life stories of courageous and talented women inspire and motivate. Engage in honest conversations that foster well-being, drawing from our own journeys. Let us guide you toward profound growth and transformation in both your personal and professional life. Here are your hosts, Dr. Sylvia Morris and Dr. Angela Walker.
Welcome to Boss Leap. Today, Angela, we have one of my favorite people in the world. We have Teri Rhetta-Gallarzo, MD, MMM. And we are going to get into a really great conversation around sisterhood and how she's been making boss leaps. And I will tell you that we have known each other for a very long time. But before we get into that, let's talk about text chains or group text. I am fine with them. I like being in a group. I like to know what's happening. My thing with a group text is sometimes people put too much in, or they overshare in it, or it's like bad news that I wasn't aware that so-and-so passed. So I'm like at work doing my thing, looking down at the phone. I'm like, oh my God, so-and-so died. So what do you feel like the rules should be for group text?
So you are Miss Popular, and I am not quite where you are. So my group texts are my little family, my immediate family, my husband and my girls. And then I'm an only child, so I don't have a lot of extended family, but my husband's side of the family, there's 5 siblings. So them and some grandkids are in there. And then I have my line sisters, and then I have you guys from med school. So my groups are a little tighter. And the information, I guess, in these groups, it's always, I haven't had the oversharing experience.
Mm-hmm.
I have, however, had the experience where I shared things in a group because like the first person's name in the group comes up and I go back to that person's name. So I think that I'm just corresponding with that one person, but I correspond with all the people in the group. And luckily I don't have too many like indiscretions or anything, but my caution is just be aware before you start sharing who exactly is in the group. Now it helps with ours because we've named ours.
Yes,
so maybe that would be my cautionary tale is name your group, have a group name versus just that one person, that leading person's tag guiding the group. But yeah, I would say I have had the incidents where my kids have shown me, like if there's an ongoing conversation and you're just busy, or you just don't have time for the dings, where you can remove yourself from the conversation and then put yourself back in. So that's probably what I would do in that situation when you're getting too much information, or just stay silent. Because a lot of times somebody, like I've put something in there and it's just silent. And you're like, I guess nobody's really interested in what I have to say today. So I would probably approach it that way.
In my case, and we're going to bring Teri Lynn Rhetta in on this conversation, because Teri and I have the, I suppose, privilege or honor maybe of being in a group text with people we have known since kindergarten. Wow. Literally, not figuratively, not like, oh, we went to elementary school, it was like 5th grade. No, I mean like kindergarten. And I'm not as always as in tune with that particular group text. And I may or may not have had it on silent at particular times. I'm not going to confirm nor deny that. But Teri, please tell us, first of all, welcome to Boss Leap. We are so excited that you are here.
Yay.
But tell us your
Thank you for
thoughts
having
and
me.
feelings on the group text. And what's the group text etiquette? Because clearly I don't know.
That's what I was just getting ready to say. So as I listen to you all, I guess social butterfly may include me too as well, Angela,
you.
because I find myself on many, many threads. it gets difficult when they add or delete someone. So one thread is gone and then you get the new thread and then you get lost because you're going to the old thread and don't use this one. That's tough. I do believe there should be text etiquette. Like, please be mindful of the hour of the day that you're texting, because if people are on the East Coast, it's very late. I have been subject to that, like a text at like 5 a.m. because it's 8 o'clock on another coast. So there's that. I do agree sometimes you need to silence because sometimes it could just be overwhelming. I am okay in general with the group chats, except for the person who wants to say something about everything, or the person who gets into the emoji GIF meme mode, and it's like 8 screens of just meme, emoji, emoji, emoji. That should be in the rules. Like, limit 2 emojis, 2 GIFs, 2 memes per 12 hours, and then you gotta wait. Psycho, you gotta wait till your turn comes up again. But other than that, I enjoy it. It is a good way to stay in contact. And although our elementary school chat is busy often, happy birthday 27 times or whatever, it does let us know that we are still, it keeps us close. And we do find out some things that we probably otherwise would not have. So it has its value.
It does. And I appreciate that reminder, Teri. And as I was saying, we literally have known each other since kindergarten, which means that we have gone through lots of different things together. And it has really been wonderful to kind of see both our personal and professional evolutions. So as we have this conversation, I am excited to share with our audience many of your boss leaps, both personally and professionally, which brings us to our first question. As what would you say to Teri that was on the monkey bars at Inglewood Christian School? What would you say to that little girl?
Lord have mercy. And that's a really good question. If I could go back to my elementary school self, I would tell myself, be bold. Do not be so afraid of taking a chance or taking a leap. One of the things that Sylvia and I can kind of laugh about right now is all through elementary school, people talked about who in the class was going to be a doctor, right? Oh, blah, blah, Sylvia's going to be a doctor. Like, we knew that from age 8 on up. And congratulations on making that dream come true. Me, on the other hand, they would say that, but I was like, yeah, no, not for me. I'm not serious enough. I'm not diligent enough. And so I ran from it. And I even changed like the college that I was going to go to, trying to run from it. But I would tell my younger self, don't do that. Go ahead, take the leap, move out, be bold, make the moves. You will not regret it. There are people that are on your journey that God will send to you, and they will sustain you. And so I think that's what I would reach back and tell her. When I set this meeting up, you all, full transparency, this was not on my list of things to do today. But when you make boss leaps, you also have to kind of pivot. That's one thing we'll talk about later in the interview. So our special VIP guest, Mariela, today, who will be joining us for just a few minutes.
Love the baby. Oh my goodness. So well,
She
this is
just woke
perfect
up.
timing because we're both aware, you are a grandmom, and I don't know what your official title is. I know we can all pick our titles these days. But tell us what right now in your career, in your life, what that has meant to you and how that has changed your life.
Yeah. And that's another good question. I am a stepmom. I tried to have kids, but was not successful in having a child of my own. And so through marriage, I became the bonus mom to a wonderful girl and boy. And that has been its own experience as well. Yep. And my daughter had a little mini me. So this is Mariela. But what has happened is it changes your whole why. Like, it gives energy and excitement to things that were normally routine and mundane. And I'm gonna probably when I finish this question, we'll pause and I'll get her register.
You're good.
And so through their relationship, she's met a really wonderful guy. And so we've been able to kind of grow our blended family, much more blended now. And it makes the tough days a little bit easier. It adds just a little bit joy at the end.
Yeah.
So you can hear in the background my jealous dog because, you know, he feels like it's his world. That's Tiberius.
We were talking about what you would say to your younger self, and you so beautifully stated being bold. And thank you so much for sharing that with our audience. I think that is really important. We both have kind of had the journey of figuring out, can I do this? Am I capable? Am I supposed to be here? I think the better way of probably saying that is imposter syndrome. And
Yes.
could you kind of talk a little bit about how you navigate that, how you manage imposter syndrome? Or do you believe in it?
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say another great question because we encounter all different kinds of people in our journey, but there are some that stand out. And I am in a professional women's group, and I have one colleague who says, "Oh, I don't believe in that. That's not true. I know I'm supposed to be where I'm supposed to be." And she feels that it's a mindset that we kind of give into because it's kind of pushed on us a little. I go back and forth about that because there is truly something to be said when you are the only or the first or one of two, and the other one, for whatever reason, is not in the room. So I think that it is not something that we convey upon ourselves. I do agree with her in that. I think that people have such a negative expectation and disposition in some cases that they, portray that or, push that onto us. So you have to learn kind of how to deal with it in different environments with different groups of people. And one of the things that I like to do is tap into the resilience of the ancestors. So when I say that,
say that again.
the resilience of our ancestors. So it is difficult to be the only in the room, but it is far more difficult to be working 12, 14, 15 hours a day with limited rations to eat and the fear of someone coming to kill you or sell you just because. But our heritage just shows us as we read through history, even when they try to remove our history,
right,
that part, that we are a resilient group of people. So when I'm in that situation, I kind of remind myself, remember, there are others that came before you that had to do such difficult things as well. And then I think about all of the other firsts, Joe Louis and, Willie Mays and, all these firsts, right? Shirley Chisholm and stuff like that. So by borrowing on that resilience, it gives you a bit of, I would even go so far as to say there's a bit of a covering that you're given at that moment when you tap into that. And that helps me get through it.
That's good. Okay. I think so much of what you said is so important in terms of babies, our kids, our grandkids, and letting them know that you belong here. You are supposed to be in the room. You have a voice. It is meant to be heard. In my house, there's no such thing as, children are
seen
to be seen and not heard. I think we need to remove that from our philosophy in our communities, which it still exists. Because what we see is when you are valuing the voice of young people, then they then are empowered to come forth and speak their truth and do their very best, in the communities that we're in. So I agree with you 100%. And I don't think I've thought of it in the way that you just mentioned of drawing on, where our ancestors have come from. When you're in that moment where you are, having self-doubt or wondering, yes, I belong here. And I know I can do it because, I know what my ancestors have done, but that means we have to continue to talk about what our ancestors have done. And I think in this forum, in particular, of sharing other women's stories that are not necessarily heard, because many of our guests are not necessarily on CNN or on the news, or and
Right.
so, but many women are doing amazing things in our communities, and our kids need to see that, so that what you see, you can do. So thank you, Teri.
Mm-hmm.
Very good info.
So I think of it as the ordinary and the extraordinary. We're
Mm.
all
Mhm.
extraordinary in our own lives and worlds, and we want to shine a light on that. Teri, talk to me about your journey to becoming a physician, and what did you learn along the way? Just a couple pearls.
So I did not take the straight path to becoming a physician. I took more of a circuitous route, if you will.
You
So
took your
initially,
path because you were
and it
making
was my
boss
path,
leaps.
yes. Initially, I tried to run from medicine because I did feel intimidated. It was daunting. Again, am I good enough, smart enough, blah, blah, blah. So I did try to um, kind of placate myself with, okay, I'll get a degree in business and that'll be fine. And I did. I got a job I got a degree in business and set out to kind of find the perfect job. But medicine for me is truly a calling. And so I found a group of students who were studying. This is now after I graduated from college and worked for a while, who were studying for the MCAT. And I decided to kind of sit down and study with them. And just little by little, just step by step, and I mean baby step by baby step, I was able to kind of overcome the hurdles. I went back to school to complete my prerequisites. So I had to quit my full-time job and do that. And I was able to kind of just work my way back up there. And I was privileged. I was able to go to Case Western Reserve School of Medicine, Cleveland, Ohio, and received a really excellent education. And there I met people who, again, along your path, right at the time, you have everything you need for the season that you're in. That would not let me give up. It was a very difficult journey for me, but I had Sylvia and then some of the other friends from elementary school who really kind of supported me through that. And so it taught me a lot about myself. And so again, tapping into that resilience, if we keep that theme going for a little bit longer, I'm not a quitter. And so when you
Nope.
know that, then you know when it gets rough, because it is going to get rough, that you have something inside of you that will sustain you and help you make it. So I did. I graduated from Case Western Reserve and came back home for residency. And then the story ended with me being chief resident in internal medicine. So I did a dual
Yes.
residency in both
At
internal
Loma
medicine and pediatrics.
Linda in Med Peds. I think it's
Wow.
Yeah,
important that our
Yeah.
audience understands
yes.
that you were chief resident at Loma Linda University.
In Southern California, for those of you who may not know, Loma Linda University Medical Center, but I also received a really good education there and met some really wonderful people through the Med Peds program and the internal medicine program and the pediatrics program, right? And so again, learned a little bit more about myself and resilience and being able to continue to shine when others try to dim your light. That's another thing we go through, which
Love that.
also kind of seeds that imposter syndrome, right? So it's really been an experience. And so I really, when Sylvia mentioned and invited me to come to Boss Leaps, I like the name because that is what we have to do. We leap over hurdles, we leap over obstacles, we leap over negativity. I just love it being a boss. So thank you again.
So amazing. I don't, I mean, I I feel like I've heard that part of your story before, Teri, but I did not remember it. And that is a huge boss leap. After you have completed college, you already have, you've got your degree, you've got access to make money. And then you decide, no, I want to, further my education. And then you defer making money for many years.
And take
Yes.
loans.
And pay, yeah. So even after you've done that, you went on to put more initials behind your name, and I'll let you describe the MMM versus like the MBA. So
Yes.
what prompted that? How did you make that decision? Because I know you mentioned you had a business background, undergrad. So tell us a little bit more about that.
So good question. Thank you for asking. I at Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles. Woohoo, go Lions. I received a bachelor's in business administration with a minor in marketing. So business degree, nice and solid, because Loyola Marymount is well known for the business program here in Southern California. I went on to get my medical degree, and I saw the opportunity to marry the business with the medicine. In the environment in the healthcare industry is in right now, it pays to speak a lot of languages. And so I took the opportunity to marry the business with the medicine by getting my MMM, which stands for Masters of Medical Management. So it is an MBA program, and I completed that at the University of Southern California, fight on for those of you who know about USC.
I'll forgive that.
That's all right, little bear. The cohort was all physicians, so radiology, OB-GYN, et cetera, et cetera. And so I was able to kind of expand my knowledge of both business and medicine at the same time. And I got that MMM, that Master of Medical Management.
That's awesome. Very
Yeah.
cool.
My guest has returned.
Yes, we love the guests.
We like her.
They're
like
all welcome.
Appearances. Absolutely.
Very
so
cool.
kind of in talking about having a master's in medical management, and I know you've worked on the insurance side of healthcare, and you are what I would call a healthcare leader. We have both had a number of jobs and have been exposed to, shall we say, different leadership styles. So can you talk a little bit about leadership and how you perhaps not necessarily assess leadership, but how do you know when you're working with a good leader, and then kind of in addition, how do you want to lead? How do you like to lead?
I'm gonna think about that one a little bit, huh? And I have mentioned this before, that we meet all different kinds of people in our journey. So you see examples of leaders that you want to be and that you don't want to be. I remember teaching that to my residents, and that's kind of a philosophy that I kind of still share, with my direct reports. And I think that good leadership is seen in people who consider themselves forever learners. You're never finished. You're always striving to be better, to learn more, to find the best known way for that moment. And I try to do that with my leadership, and I try to instill that in those that I lead. Things are ever changing. There are disruptors, there are, discoveries and things like that. And so I think that true leadership is always evolving. It's a forever learning process. And it includes that kind of thirst for knowledge and that thirst for just really never being finished. I'm always getting better. I think definitely you have to be strong. And when you are a woman, you need to have a village, because you pour out quite a bit and there's not as many people pouring into you. So I think that helps as well. A hype man, a wingman, a hype woman, a wing woman is always good. Thank you, Sis Sylvia, to let you know, yes, girl, go ahead, go for it, try it. I remember when I went out for chief medical officer at a national health plan. So yes, while I was on the payer side, Sylvia was like, you can do this. You got this. Yeah, you have a business degree, a medical degree, and you have a master's degree in both in medicine and management. Do it. And so having that also, that village is what really keeps you moving forward, keeps you grounded also.
Yeah. Yeah, we all need that BWH, the best or BHW, best hype woman on your side.
Yes, a BHW.
Sylvia,
Yes.
BHW. That's Sylvia. So very good. Well, Teri, tell us, so we know that you have many hats, including being a grandmom now. Tell us how you practice self-care, or how you would like to.
How I would like to. So I think that in that recipe for self-care, you have to pour in a little retail therapy. You need some time at the mall, right? But that is the culmination of the day, because you get up and you have manicure and a pedicure. You put on a really nice outfit and you go and have lunch with a dear friend, and then you walk around the mall. You might not buy anything, because every time you don't have to buy something. It's just taking that time to relax and dream and consider, and in some cases buy, yes, but definitely peruse, to kind of remind yourself of, what am I busting my buns for, right? So yeah, every now and then, you'll end up with some designer something in your bag.
Is this
And
an
so,
inherent SoCal thing? Because this sounds so familiar.
yes, it is.
Yeah,
And so when I get you back out here again, because I missed
Yes.
you when you were in Irvine, but you
Yes.
had that taste when you all did
Yes.
that magazine cover.
We are going to we have a couple more questions. First off, I'm going to ask, I'm going to talk about why I think we're such good friends, but please tell our audience why you think we are such good friends. And when I think about it, I know that our friendship has evolved as we have evolved.
Mm-hmm.
And over the last literally 50 years, you have always given me space to be authentic, and knowing that I'm not the same person that I was in third grade or high school or college or med school or residency, or even, in my 40s. And you always give me space to shine my light, I would say the brightest, and you don't let me not be truthful to myself. So you are kind of a truth teller, and there is no, can we say BS on Boss Leap? I think we can say BS.
Yes.
No BS is allowed, and no victimhood is sort of allowed. It is always about, how are you at this moment, and how are you moving forward, and how are you evolving? And for that, I really appreciate. And the other thing is, you always show up for me. And I know that we don't always talk all the time, every week, but I know if I need something, I can pick up the phone, I can send you a text, and you'll be there. So thank you, girl.
That's beautiful.
Back at you, girl. I think the question on the floor is, why do I
Why are
think
we
we're
such
such good
friends?
friends, right?
Yes.
I don't know, Angela, and you've known her for many, many years. So, it's just something about when you know somebody, when they learn how to write. I mean, like the letter A. And then you see them when they are learning cursive or not learning
Hate
cursive.
it.
However, yeah, and I've never seen Sylvia like really stand her ground as that. So those stories are really good. But I think that it's a part of really knowing what is at the core of a person that has strengthened our friendship. It has not always been sunshine and roses, right? So I think that allowing ourselves to be ourselves, but then accepting somebody who will really tell you the truth, like what she said, that goes both ways, that strengthens our friendship. The other thing is being able to know when it's your turn. A lot of times when Sylvia and I talk, I'll go, girl, I know it's not my turn, but I'll tell you when it's my turn. You go. And she goes, okay, well, I'm done. Now it's your turn. You go. And so being able to give that space, but being mindful that the other person may be going through something too, knowing you're not alone, that helps you get through that, whatever that happens to be, good, bad, up, down. There was a time in our lives where she was up and I was down, or I was down and she was up. And we were kind of like, gosh, when are we ever going to kind of catch each other when we're both on the up? And so most recently we celebrated that. It's like,
That's
hey,
beautiful.
girl, how about I got good news and you have good news too. So
Yeah.
celebrating the wins, allowing the ability to mourn the losses, but only for a little while. Okay, that's it. That's over. Pity party over. And then just somebody who really says, girl, I know you can do it. And they know, and
You
you
can do
know
it.
that they
Right.
know.
Mhm.
I think that helps.
That's key.
And then the people that we meet along the way, like Sylvia was responsible for me meeting you, and that just added to the village because good women
Yeah.
are few and far between. And so just I appreciate your strength, your letting me be just like part of that group, because that's a tight group in and of itself, right? And allowing this kind of, like I said, blended family, extended family experience. So thank you. I think that's what strengthens it.
Yeah. Good people attract good people. And I think I try to teach my girls that if you are surrounding yourself with people that want the best for you, and you want the best for them, then it's you'll go a long way. But it's finding those people and not settling for anything less, and knowing when to move on, because some people are not able to fulfill that need to be supportive. So Teri, I know that we have something in common in that we have a sisterhood outside of our bloodlines family. We didn't make the same decision in how we pledged, but nevertheless, we're both part of the Divine Nine. You are pledge, AKA. What does that sisterhood mean to you? How has that played a role in your life?
So that again has allowed me to broaden my horizons, right? Expand my network and really work with other women who possess that same moral and ethical kind of drive or compass, if you will. So, yes, I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And Angela, you are a member of
Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated.
Thank you. And even though, in college we have our thing, it lets us know that we really strive for something bigger as a group of people. And our family is not limited to just the aunts or just the uncles or just the cousins, right? So my sisters that are in the Divine Nine, that are not necessarily Alpha Kappa Alpha women, still my family. And that to me lets me know that if I needed something, I could call you, because just we lean on the shield in some cases for things, And so I think that it forces you to understand different personalities, because if you've ever been in a chapter meeting, you can imagine a lot of alpha women trying to, and I don't mean alpha as in AKA, I mean alpha as in I'm the big dog, I'm the one, right?
Yes.
So it forces you to really in some cases, understand the true value of compromise and the importance of really compromising and listening to my sister. It teaches you the importance of forgiveness and all of those things that expand to all of life, right? So I think that has encouraged me. And you also get to see examples, of strong and powerful women like the current vice president, and, who let you know that, yeah, you can do it and you can break ceilings as well, right? Yes.
Yes. Awesome. Very good.
Mhm.
Well, you are a true shining example of, we call them in our book a superwoman, but you are just wearing all your hats with complete grace And,
thank you.
you've always been such a pleasure. I look forward to the mani-pedi, the dressing up, the lunch, and the
Yes.
libation, and then retail
Yes.
therapy thereafter.
Yes. Yes.
Next
Yes.
time we're in the same vicinity. But thank you so much for being a part of our broadcast. I think we're trying to reach women in every part of their life, and certainly you have shown us part of what it takes to be there for your family, as well as in your business and as a sister and a friend. So can't thank you enough. Sylvia?
Thank you.
Lynn Rhetta-Gallarzo, MD, MMM, daughter, sister, wife, grandma.
Nana, that's what
thank you.
That's what I was going to tell you.
Yes, Nana.
Sister, friend, you were leader. You were so many hats, and I am so proud of you as a human being. And I'm so happy that after 50 years of friendship, we are still evolving, and that we are still thick as thieves, as the people say.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being with us today on Boss Leap and sharing all of your Boss Leap moves. Angela, what take-homes do we have for our audience from our conversation with Dr. Rhetta-Gallarzo?
I think the first one, and I had to write it down, but was continue to shine your light when others are trying to dim it. Is so poignant and so relevant in all aspects of our life. When you're an undergrad and you have a counselor that's telling you, no, you can't become a physician because you have a bad grade in this class, or you're in medical school and someone tells you, no, you're not going to be able to do that residency because you're too small to be an orthopedic surgeon. Just don't let anyone dim your light. When you have a dream, you can achieve it. It may be harder, your path may be longer, but it's definitely something you can do. So that was my one takeaway. And then forever learning. And that's something that I have learned, because you think that when we get to this age, the golden years, the beautiful years, and mine happened to be in my 50s, of, I've done everything, I've met the mark. But what I'm learning is, no, I want to continue to learn. I want to do more. And when you do that, it just continues to expand your horizons, and so don't limit yourself. It's forever learning is part of the human experience if you're going to, I think, live it with joy and meaning. So those are my takeaways. How about you, Syl?
Absolutely. And I just want to talk about the name of our podcast is Boss Leap, excuse me. And every time I would get a new job, Teri, you would say to me, you are leaping from one lily pad to the next.
Wow.
And that always sticks with me, because it is a reminder that we are moving forward, we are evolving, we're not staying stuck where we are. So Teri, I want to thank you for that. I also want to leave us with the phrase, be bold, because I think that's the most beautiful thing that you've said out of many things in our conversation and for our audience. So with that, thank you very much, Dr. Teri Lynn Rhetta-Gallarzo, and be bold.
Yeah. And to our audience, be well.
Be well. Thank you.
That's a wrap on another episode of Boss Leap. May this conversation enlighten your path toward personal growth and professional empowerment. For more thought-provoking and eye-opening discussions like this one, head to our website at bossleappodcast.com. Always remember to celebrate your wins and trust yourself. A positive mindset can push you out of your comfort zone and into far greater heights. Until next time, may you be well.
Before we go, there's one more thing the lawyers have asked us to include. It's the legal language. And you know how doctors love lawyers. This podcast is presented only for educational and entertainment purposes. Although we are doctors, on this show, we are just your friends. This podcast is not intended as a substitute for the advice of your physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professionals. Understood? Awesome. We'll see you in the next episode.